Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Sherry, and I think this has audio attached to it as well. Here's her story. Dear Ollie, this is my second time writing to you. You read my first letter a couple years ago, and the video is called Narcissists Live in Dog Years. I remember that one. Because everything that happens to narcissists, it lasts in dog years. 7 years for a narcissist. I really appreciated your input then, and I need some more now. I want your honesty and your ability to read situations because, like so many scapegoats, I am struggling with self-blame and chastising myself over a recent development. A little context for my current situation. My grandfather died in December. He had been the last living relative that I had a good relationship with, and I had been very close with him all my life until the past 2 years after I went no contact with the rest of the family. It made me very sad that this was the way it had to be, but the truth is he was very sick, so my mother was deeply involved in his life. I found it too hard to stay physically in touch with him while staying no contact with the rest of them, though I sent him Christmas cards and visited a few times when I knew it was safe. Luckily, in all that time, I didn't run into my family, and no negative consequences arose from me seeing him when I was able to. As my grandfather's last days approached, it was my brother-in-law, Hank, who sent me a Facebook message to let me know that time was running out. I thanked him and told him when I was planning to be at the hospital. I figured my mother had asked him to get in touch so that she didn't have to. Let me tell you a little about Hank. He's a grifter extraordinaire. He's everybody's buddy until the chips are down. He and my sister Shelley have spent their entire lives moving from city to city all across North America to start over via one relative or another. Surprise, once it was a safe bet that my grandfather might die, he moved his family to my city. This was a couple years ago. Hank and Shelley never asked what was wrong between my mother, stepfather, and brother and me, but it's obvious they know how to play the game since they do not do anything without my parents, which means I am not a part of their lives. Fine by me, I only bring it up to make sure you know that Hank knows exactly what he's up to. So Hank gives me the heads up about my grandfather, and I tell him I will say goodbye to my grandfather at the hospital at such and such a time the next day. What does he say in reply? He says, "Great, I will try to be there then too." This is just so awkward. I did not want to see him. He obviously knew that I had no relationship with anyone and that I'd be in a sad frame of mind at the hospital too. Why would he say that? It forced me to request that I be allowed to have time alone with my grandfather. When I did that, he seemed offended and act like I had done something really over the line and cool, because he was probably going to hit you up for something there. Okay, so you fucked up his plan, whatever it was, whatever he was going to grift you over. You fucked up his little plan. He did respect my request, though, and myself, my daughter, and husband had a nice last visit that day. Next, of course, comes the actual death of my grandfather. I heard through my daughter, whom my mother had written to and left the bad news in a Facebook message for her. I comforted my daughter and talked her through it. Afterwards, I felt very angry that my mother forced my child to deliver this news to me instead of acting like an adult for once and simply sending me the message or email, or even getting Hank to tell me and allowing me to be the one to break the news to my own child. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. She already had Hank call you once. A day later, Hank did send me a message about my grandfather dying. Was this supposed to mean that my mother told him to after she already told my daughter, as if my daughter wouldn't call me right away with the news? Or did Hank take it upon himself in order to play the good guy again? He's taken it upon himself. Listen, they never miss an opportunity, to prime a target. My father was a master at this. I don't know. There's such bad communication in this family, it's impossible to make any sense of it. I expressed to him that I was sad and that I would miss him. I also asked him to pass my phone number to my mother, hoping to avoid my daughter being put into any more situations like that again. Hank didn't have a reply to that, not even "I'm sorry for your loss." You see, this is how it is. If I hadn't have mentioned passing my number to my mother, he probably would have responded. But the second there is any hint of contention with the narc queen bitch, everyone around retreats into their shells. Phase 3 of this memorial service. Unbelievably, they invited my daughter, but not me. I wouldn't have gone, so that was a good call on their part. However, this resulted in a wedge between my daughter and I. I was in support of her attending the service, but it turns out they invited her over to their house after for a drink, and she went. And they made her feel welcome and special. Uh-oh. Yeah, you got to nip that right in the bud. You got to be like, look, look, there's a reason why I'm no contact. It ain't going to end any better for you. She didn't want to tell me that part, but she tripped up on the story about how she got home from the graveyard. Then the whole story came out. I was so angry that they were purposely pitting her against me. I know outsiders, normies, won't get that. I had a long talk with my daughter. I told her a good handful of the things her grandmother had done over the years I had never told her before, and said to her, look, these people are not nice. They're users and liars. They are abusive, mean, and they will throw you under the bus in a second flat. Not to mention, they will try to destroy our relationship. As sick as it sounds, that might be their main purpose, and all of a sudden wanting to include you in their lives. I have no one to talk to about this, and even telling the story now, I can hear how this all sounds like me overreacting. Am I overreacting, Ollie? No. That's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly. Well, yeah. Well, you're gonna cut us out. Well, we're gonna go after your kid. That's what they do. That's what they do. They did to me. One more phase, the will. My mother told me that there would be a few $1,000s for me from my grandfather. This was a few years ago. I always thought it was odd the way she said it out of the blue. She said, well, you aren't getting much of anything, right? Just a few thousand. Your brother is getting even less. I hadn't even asked. I felt gross that she even said it. When he did die, I thought to myself that I just let it all go. I don't care. It isn't worth the hassle at all. But then when they triangulated my daughter and me, I changed my mind. I waited until this week to ask for the lawyer's information. It started with Hank, who I also asked to give my mother's phone number. Hank responded indigently, that's none of my business. I wouldn't know that info. I've just gotten a new phone, so I don't know your mother's number offhand. I passed yours to her, though. Yeah, they're trying to fuck you over. Not that you care, but that's what's going on. Then I asked my aunt, who has a terrible relationship with my mother too, if she would give me the lawyer's name. She replied with just the thumbs up on Facebook, so I waited. Nothing. I wrote again, and she said she didn't know, but she has faith that my mother will be honest with the estate. That's weird. Her share stands to be quite large, and she absolutely cannot stand my mother. Something smells fishy with her reply to me. Yeah, she's being threatened for the money. They're always going to shut down with the will money. They're always going to shut down. Finally, I emailed my mother directly. I offered condolences before telling her I was disappointed that she'd not seen fit to even touch base throughout this whole thing, knowing my grandfather and I were very close, and knowing that I was in the will. Perhaps I shouldn't have bothered saying that part. Then I asked for the lawyer's name so that I could forward my contact info directly. A quick note about this. 2 years ago, my uncle died. I was named an heir along with my brother and cousin. My cousin told me that there was another heir who stepped forward that had a higher place, my uncle's long-lost brother, and so there was no need to get a lawyer, etc. Well, that turned out to be a lie, and the truth only came out this year. I don't care, and I'm not going to fight it. I didn't know the man, and my cousin was fairly close to him. Although my cousin acted like a scumbag and treated me like a total bitch, I'm not interested in any of that. I did learn from it, though, and I'm afraid my mother did too. The reason I want the lawyer's info is I'm afraid if I just leave it up to her, she will simply tell the lawyer that I refuse to be involved. She'll pull the exact same stunt my cousin did. Yep, My mother didn't write back to my email about the lawyer's name. Instead, she called. I was not expecting that at all and was in a bit of shock through the whole call. I'm afraid I even laughed a couple times. I was so nervous. I couldn't think straight. I recorded the call and wish I could have a do-over. The call is 2.5 minutes long and I'm attaching it for you to hear. I can figure out how. Now that you've heard that, I should clear one more thing up. She knows where I live. It's a stupid game to her to make believe like this. Oh wait, am I supposed to listen to this now? Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I gave it to Hank to give to you.
Well, why are you communicating through Hank?
Wow, listen. She sounds like my mother trying to stay calm. This woman can explode at any second. This is a woman who thinks she's in control and she's not. She's not.
The lawyer needs to send you something. If you would like to give me your address, I can have them send it to you.
No reason for her not to just give you the lawyer's name.
I tried to call you and I also emailed you.
Yes, I got your email this afternoon.
Okay, thank you for calling back. Would you like to give her information?
No.
No. Gee, of course not. No, because I want to control all this. I want to cut you out. Yeah, she's trying to cut you out. I don't know. I think there should be a way to do a public record search to find out who the lawyer involved is.
Why?
Listen, I'm asking you for your address.
Wow.
That's all I ask.
This sounds like
I'm
my
only
mother.
asking you for the lawyer's name. I'm only asking you for the lawyer's name. Why is that unreasonable?
Because I'm not phoning to discuss that right now. I'm not discussing anything about the email that you sent me right now.
Oh, she's a trip. She's terrified. Oh, no, you need to find that lawyer's name and contact the lawyer directly. Yeah, she's terrified.
Good. I don't want to.
Well, fine, then just give me your address.
Why?
The lawyer can get what?
Why?
Because she sent me an email asking me if I would provide your address to her.
Oh, gosh, she explained just like my mother when she lies. Oh, my God. Wow.
Okay.
For enough reason?
Yes,
No.
The thing is, my question was to get the lawyer's information so that I can give her my information, which is the same aim that you have. So I don't understand why this is so contentious.
Because I don't intend to pay my lawyer to fight you about anything.
It's not her lawyer, it's the estate's lawyer, and she doesn't pay it. The lawyer gets paid out of the estate. She's not paying this person anyone. It's not her lawyer, it's the estate's lawyer.
I'm not going to fight with her. I would just rather give her my address privately.
So you don't want me to know where you live?
Ugh.
No.
Okay, I'll just phone her back and say that you refused.
No, Mother. I have this recorded, by the way.
Oh, go ahead and record it, Sharon.
Well, yeah, so that... Can you believe that?
Wow. Yep. Yeah, she bailed probably because she heard your husband in the background. Okay, but she fucked up. When you told her she was recording and she said she didn't care, that's it. You can do whatever you want with that recording at this point. Whatever you want. Okay? And if she tries to cut you, there's no reason for you to have to give her your address. No, just tell me who the lawyer is. No. She tries anything. You can nail her at this point. You can nail her. Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to find my spot. Okay, hold on. The whole page shifted. Okay. The reason I want the lawyer's info is I'm afraid I'll just leave it up to her. She will simply tell the lawyer that I refuse to be involved. She will pull the exact same stunt my cousin did. Exactly. Okay, here we are. Now that you've heard that, I should clear up one more thing. She knows where I live. It's a stupid game to her to make believe like this. Not to mention that she had my phone number for a month. And what? All of a sudden, she got an email from her lawyer saying that she needs to send me something. On that same day as I wrote my email, no, I think she was trying her best to leave me out, and entirely by writing and to her send her into a panic. Yeah, you sent her into a panic. And that brings us to today. I want to know your honest thoughts. I feel so broken down that I don't trust my own instincts or reactions anymore. The confrontation gives me shakes and a sick stomach. Also, there is a horrible knowledge that the option I have here is to give her my address, and then what? Hope for the best? I'd have to call her a liar if I ever hear from the lawyer. And besides, I never hear from the lawyer. Who can I complain to? I have tried writing to all the estate lawyers in town to ask if they are handling the estate. So far, no luck. I would hire a lawyer myself, but it's going to cost the same amount as the inheritance, if there is even any at this point. Why can't anything just be fucking simple? Why couldn't she just tell me the friggin' lawyer's name and be done with it? Thanks, Ollie. I look forward to your honest thoughts. Look, Sherry, I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell everybody when a will's involved. They're going to find a way to fuck you out of it. It's not worth it for a few thousand. What are you doing for a few $1,000s? You're jeopardizing your relationship with your daughter so they can possibly hook them in? Why? Over what? I understand you don't want her to get away with it. Okay? What I would do is, if I were you, Sherry, because that, I think, was a YouTube video you played, I would be posting that video of your mother on my Facebook page so everybody can hear it for themselves what happened. And then anybody who doesn't give you that lawyer's name or doesn't turn on your mother and demand that you get the name, okay, kick them off your Facebook. I don't even know why they can still see your Facebook at this point, but they can. Your mother's obviously afraid of exposure. She said she didn't care who you showed it to. Well, there you go. Show it to, say, here you go. Here you go. Here's what's going on. Or you could just post this video on your Facebook. Either way, okay? Anybody who has anything to do with your mother at this point or your family at this point needs to be cut out. They're always going to figure out a way to screw you out of the will. And I've said this time and time and time again. You just got to cut your losses sometimes. Is it worth the emotional baggage that you're gonna have to pile up to deal with this shit? Over what? Over what? Nothing. So, thank you so much for your contribution and story. I hope that helps. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook live chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it successful, growing, and expanding, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all of this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance.